few questions myself. Shrimp leather.
Yeah. So this is cool. I didn't get to do a huge deep dive into this, but let's dive into this together. So this is cool. So this is about this article talks about a Brooklyn startup called I think it's Tomex. I don't know because of that little hat on top of the O, but Tomex we'll go with. They've developed a groundbreaking new material from discarded shrimp cells. Oh God, seashells by the seashore. We got this one going. Seafood is a huge industry, as you all know. But what it does is it produces massive amounts of waste in the forms of shells, bones, and other byproducts. So typically, the waste is thrown out. But Tomtex founder Win Tran, he's discovered a way to transform these shells into a strong, flexible material that can essentially mimic leather. It can also mimic suede and potentially other fabrics commonly used in the fashion industries and furnishings. So even better, the cool thing about Tomtex, the process itself, it produces this biomaterial without any plastics, which is awesome because it means the end products are fully and natural and biodegradable. So again, you're seeing this trend with consumers demanding more eco-friendly options. A lot of times the eco-friendly options are more, you can tell that the quality isn't there. You can tell that it's eco-friendly. So this does seem promising. So it puts them in a unique position to offer potentially a sustainable alternative to leather. So actually and what's cool about this is there are some people behind them. So Tomtex they recently secured 4.15 million in funding, which will allow them to ramp up commercial production and begin taking orders to supply their shrimp shell textiles to other companies, which is cool. So as the push towards circular business model grows, which is Tomtex is exactly it, upcycling ocean waste like shrimp shells into high value materials, it represents an exciting new model. The question is what is the fashion industry? How are they going to react to this, right?
Yeah, it definitely interesting. They've raised some money here. I pulled up their website, so we're looking at some pictures of their leather right now, and I'll continue to do that as we're chatting, just to browse through so we can show our viewers what's going on here. We have, before we get into it, I had some questions, but we did have a question come in, which a question I had is, okay, does it smell? And I read something where it says it goes through some chemical process and whatnot to minimize any, unpleasant odor. I don't know what does that mean?
Well, I'm guessing they're thinking, does it smell fishy?
Yeah, well, no, I know that, but I'm question when I read about it, I was saying that they go through this process to minimize any unpleasant odors. But what does that mean? Does that mean if I wear this out on a hot day and it's gonna smell, or is it not gonna smell?
I guess time will tell. So yeah, I read that too. So on a molecular level, what they were saying is the team uses biological and chemical processes to break down the shells. So it's just breaking down the shells into a flexible leather-like biomass. So although it does retain the properties of strength, it does become moldable. But again, my assumption is using chemicals and processes. I'm guessing especially if it's breaking it down, it will potentially eliminate the smell, but I'm not sure. We'll have to find out more about that for sure.
Definitely. I mean, like where this is going, and we're seeing some pictures, stuff as I'm posting here, different types of stuff, and some of it looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it looks legit. It looks high quality. I'm curious to see how it feels. That's my biggest thing. How does it feel?
Yeah, can you explain how they do this process?
Yeah, so after I did some research into it. So what they do is they start with with sourcing discarded shrimp shells, Jesus, from processing facilities around the world. So again, for those that don't know, shells are a waste product from peeling shrimp for food production. So not just they're not sourcing it from your house where you'll have a shrimp ring at night with your family and in that, but we're talking mass food production here. So then the way they prepare it is the shells are first cleaned and then dried, which removes any remaining meat or debris from the attached shells. And then the breakdown, which is what we were just talking about, they're put through a proprietary biological and chemical breakdown process. So enzymes and other agents are used to help break the shells down into their basic protein and chitin components. And then as the shells break down, the materials recombine. And that's where you start the process here. It gets into a smooth, flexible biomass, which again, they're describing as not unlike raw leather in texture. So at this stage, it can be dyed, imprinted, or texturized. Then from there, they mold it. So they use heat and pressure that are applied to further set the material structure and shape it as desired, which develops creases and strength similar to cured leather. And then we get into the fabrication. So from here, the biomass can be cut, and they're calling it biomass because that's what it is, right? It can be cut, sewn, or crafted into a wide range of materials like leather goods, furnishings, or fashion items. And then there's an optional phase, what they were talking about, which includes processing like waterproofing to enhance durability for various applications.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, as we're discussing this, they've raised $4.15 million recently.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know what their valuation is? I didn't see that. I didn't. I wasn't.
I'll take a look at where while we're discussing
Yeah.
and
Might
see
be
if
on
I.
Crunchbase.
Yeah, I'm gonna take, as we go. I'm looking this stuff up as you're talking for
Yeah.
questions that we haven't answered yet from these things.
Yeah.
This looks really interesting. Looks like they're building. They've got um their approach uses existing food waste rather than a time-consuming, costly lab growing process, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and the stuff, I don't know. Oh, you can't see what I'm looking at right now. So I don't know if these are pictures of the product or not. So I hate to.
Yeah. Who knows if these are AI generated or if they're actual.
Oh, here we go. Products.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is the Tor M series, but does it show us actually any end? Okay.
Potentially. But who knows? You know what? Nowadays, you never know if this is an actual photo of someone or AI generated.
Um, well, you assume because this is Tom
Yeah.
Texas work with Daphne Mark to bring back a
Okay.
fashion week
Oh, yeah.
look that these are from that fashion week, but
That's cool.
you can say whatever you want. Um,
I
just
would
curious
believe
to look
them.
at these things to see what it is they look like when you're talking about shrimp leather.
Yeah.
Some of it looks good,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it really on a
Click on
jacket.
samples. Click on samples. What is sample? Is it to order samples or?
Yeah, you can, or anybody's here, you can go on the Tom Tech site and you can order samples. It doesn't, there's no pictures there. It's just an order form. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, it looks good.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. They haven't produced anything that I think I would wear, but hey, all the better to those. But obviously, it's endless, unlimited possibilities.
Are there other examples of upcycling ocean waste into?
Yeah. So there's a few. So fish leather. So similar to Tomtex, there's some startups that create leather-like materials from fish skins that would otherwise be discarded. There's seaweed bioplastic. So companies extract polymers from seaweeds that can replace petroleum-based plastics, which is awesome. Some are compostable, while others mimic properties of nylon, PETs, etc. Um, there's fish oil supplements, obviously, leftover bones and other byproducts from fish processing. They actually contain omega-3 fatty acids. And they're actually accessible oil through if you extract it properly. Then there's fertilizers. So shells and waste fish can be decomposed into nutrients that enrich soil quality. protein recovery. So there's technologies now that recover proteins from undesirable fish parts and shells to use as sustainable food or feed ingredients. There's some really cool stuff out there that I didn't know until I started doing some research into this.
Yeah, I'm this is really cool. I love when we can do anything where we're not constantly throwing stuff out. Restaurant waste is a big thing. So when we start looking at seafood and
Yeah.
ocean and pulling this stuff, um, another person has a question here.
Yep.
Is there enough discarded shrimp to really scale? Like, I guess that's also like, I guess there is enough worldwide, but they're not throwing it all in one basket for people to collect, right? So how do you like, how do
Yeah,
you,
and that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking too. So what they would need to do, like I think there is. The short answer is yes. There, I think there is enough, but they would need to partner directly, and they probably are doing this with large shrimp farmers and processors. Um, they could establish shell, or they probably are going to establish shell collection facilities near clusters of shrimp operations. So again, more centralized kind of operations. Um, they can incentivize processors by paying them a small fee per ton of shells collected. So, because obviously they're discarding shrimp producers are discarding a lot of this stuff that they would be their goal. One man's garbage is another man's treasure. So by paying them, it could incentivize them. So the other thing too is they're going to have to develop shelf stable storage and transport methods so that they can transport it from these central locations. Um, but I think there's an abundance of shell out there. Now, again, what if so since this is a potentially amazing technology, what about if there's another company that comes up, but another company that comes up? That's the question: is there going to be enough there? But like shrimp is a major industry, Southeast, especially in Southeast Asia, South America. So they just need to ensure that they partner with the right people.
yeah, this is always interesting when you do something like this. Is this somebody who takes over because they're the only person doing it for a short period of time, or does everyone jump in and think they can do it? I feel like this might be a little bit like streaming services where one person is successful, then everyone else jumps in and says, "Hey, we'll all do it," and then a few years down the road, you find out that maybe that doesn't work.
Yeah,
We got another question come in here. Can we recycle the shrimp leather?
yeah. So it's a great question. Now, in the article itself, it doesn't explicitly say recycling after use can be done, but based on what I've read, so a couple things. It's being made from natural shells and proteins rather than plastics, so it should fully biodegrade over time if discarded. However, being a company that needs to maximize value and make profit, they would likely design it for multiple life cycles before decomposition. So, although yes, it probably most likely can be recycled, it's like those reusable bags that are supposed like again, you would think that they would be recycled, but they're made to be reused multiple times. Some of them are made from biodegradable materials, but those materials are meant to last through chemical processes longer than what you would think. So, but the thing is, the cool thing about this and biodegradable materials is the flexible material could be potentially remolded or reshaped for new applications by being reheated. Any worn or damaged pieces may be able to be ground or blended back into the basic biomass material for reuse. So again, it could be upcycled and recycled multiple times before being discarded, right? So really, yeah. So long answer, yes.
This is really interesting. Some of the styles look cool. We'd have, like you said, we have to see how it feels, see how it looks, wears,
Yeah,
smells. But the concept is very interesting, and I think it would appeal to a lot of people.
I agree. Yeah.
I had some other stuff here. I'm just trying to wait to see if there's any more questions. I we talked about scalability. We talked about fashion. There's one startup doing it, so it's not going to be available to everybody any like quickly.
Yeah.
And even their examples are only for custom designers, so you can order, I guess, swaths of it, so you can incorporate like strips of it, like strips of leather, so you can make stuff. So this is kind of at a wholesale fashion textile level, not actually at a you can order jackets level.
Yeah.
When are we gonna see that I can order a jacket? Sorry, you
Honestly, yeah, again, I know the last one I said 1 to 2 years originally, but, I think this one, obviously, if it's part of London Fashion Week, um, you've already got samples out there. They're already producing this. There's already testing being done. It's just a matter of scaling it up now. So, um, I I I I well, we're already seeing it on the runway. I don't know when we're gonna see it actually in department stores. Are department stores still a thing? Are they still called department stores?
I guess so. They're mostly closing now, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one big clothing store is filed for bankruptcy, H&M. They're a big, they were a big fashion brand for a while all over, but
Did they talk about how long this stuff lasts? Like, if you buy a good leather jacket and
yeah.
you kind of take care of it, it'll last you your life.
Yeah. Um, I don't think they have those tests yet, or at least if they do, they haven't released them. Um, um, and because they were, when were they? Hold on. Uh, when was it founded? I think it was founded in 2021. And so that is, I don't think that's long enough for longevity testing yet, right? So I think they still need to do more tests on that.
Yeah, and basically trying to move away from, petrol based, people don't
Yeah.
understand how we're a petroleum based economy, and things like getting rid of the plastic bags had a negative impact that unforeseen on many areas, and they're
Yeah.
talking about bringing them back in a biodegradable way. Do
Yeah.
you see not necessarily this leather, but other things saying, all right, we need reusable bags or biodegradable bags or things that are environmentally friendly because we're going to use them every day? Can we pull stuff from the ocean to replace the
Yeah, I think so.
petro based?
Yeah, based on some of the other examples that we were talking about, there definitely is. The problem is big oil has lots of um lobbyists. They have lots of money to kind of try to quiet this stuff and make and delay it
Well, I
and maybe
mean,
even buy out these
I
companies.
don't think they care. Like, Big Oil does have a lot of money, but do they really care that someone's doing fake leather or going to make another form of plastic bag? Like,
I
if they're
think
going
so.
after their oil industry, they're more concerned about hydrogen potentially than whatever's going on here.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
I get it. I'm all for,
yeah.
conspiracy theories about
Conspiracy.
big oil, but not around shrimp leather clothing and
Yeah,
plastic bags. But, as I said, negative effects, we're going to jump to the next ones in a second, but
yeah,
negative effects, like when they removed the plastic bags, that's when people started crapping all over the streets in San Francisco.
yeah,
Uh, so it was just because they used to use the plastic bags of homeless
mhm,
people and whatnot. So they got rid of the porta potties and then they got rid
yeah,
of the plastic bags. And now you Google San Francisco poo maps and you can see where to avoid where people are crapped on the streets. And like,
crazy.
okay, where that's what I'm saying. We have on these unforeseen circumstances. So as a society, we need something, but
Yeah,
it's nice to have something that doesn't have the environmental impact.
exactly.